we'll float it in the sky instead of the water, and we'll set it down on our trailer, and we'll wrap it up for the day.
On the Milwaukee lakefront, Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
And a reminder that Lincoln Memorial Drive closed during the removal process, which is scheduled to finish about 4 p.m. A WTMJ, Wisconsin's Morning News exclusive, the Milwaukee Public Museum not only getting a new address, it'll have a new name and logo when it makes the move to 6th and McKinley downtown. It'll be known as the Nature and Culture Museum of Wisconsin. The logo will feature the likeness of the institution's twin buildings, now under construction near Fiserv Forum. Museum officials wanted a name that reflects the statewide attraction that the museum already is, featuring collections of items from all of Wisconsin's 72 counties. The new museum is expected to open in early 2027. Recently elected Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney meeting with President Trump at the White House. Now, the meeting comes after tensions between Canada and the United States, mainly over the president's tariff policies. ABC's Karen Travers.
Mark Carney was propelled to his election win, in part because of anger in Canada over some of Trump's comments about trying to make Canada the 51st state, and also this ongoing trade war. The tariffs that the president has put on Canada, 25% on Canadian goods, 10% on Canadian oil imports, and other tariffs that have been put in place. This has really rocked the Canadian economy and really made things difficult with the relationship between the U.S. and Canada.
Canada has retaliated with tariffs on U.S. imports, including on metal and on cars. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth posting on X that he is ordering a 20% reduction of 4-star general officers.
It used to be a ratio of 1 general to 6,000 troops. Today, it's 1 general to 1,400. More generals and admirals does not equal more success.
The Trump administration says it is moving forward with the deep cuts that will promote efficiency. And jury selection resumes today for Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking trial in New York. News Nation's Mills Hayes.
12 men and women. They will ultimately decide the fate of one of the music's biggest names. Nearly 36 New Yorkers questioned Monday about their views on sexual violence, sex trafficking, guns, and illicit drugs. As Sean Diddy Combs, seated in a dark sweater, listened closely, at one point admitting that he was nervous. Panelists were also given a list of celebrities that could come up at trial, names like Kanye West and Combs' former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura.
He faces charges for sex trafficking, racketeering, and other crimes. Combs has pleaded not guilty. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the red here as we hit the 10 o'clock hour. The Dow currently down about 136 points, just over the 41,000 mark at 41,082. NASDAQ down about 105 points at 17,740. S&P 500 is off about 20 today at 5629. For sound financial advice from a fee-only fiduciary, it's Annex Wealth Management. Go to annexwealth.com and click on the Get Started button today. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 10:03.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-375-8936. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-375-8936, 800-375-8936, 800-375-8936.
Hey Milwaukee, it's Josh Albrecht here.
And I'm also Josh Albrecht. Join us every Saturday at 1:30 p.m. on 620 WTMJ for Joshin' Around Milwaukee.
We're diving into the best of what makes this city great. Local events, hidden gems, and of course, everything Milwaukee.
It's your inside look at what's happening around town, places to visit, people to meet, and stories you won't want to miss.
Catch us every Saturday at 1:30 p.m. right here on 620 WTMJ and find extended episodes and content on visitmilwaukee.org. Let's get Joshin' Around.
Two Joshes are better than one. Forget average. At Exterior Pros, they bring the heat. They're not here to meet standards, they're here to smash them. From the first swing of the hammer to the final reveal, they're leveling up your home with every window, every shingle, and every single detail. This isn't just a remodel, it's a glow up for your house. Built tough, built beautiful, built to turn heads. Want in? Let's go. Lock in your project now and save $3,000. Exterior Pros, where bold meets built. Trust the pros and visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers taking Game 1 against the Houston Astros last night at American Family Field. That makes 2 wins in a row. Tobias Myers picks up his first win of the season.
A key piece for the Brewers from 2024, back on track. Tobias Myers earned his first win of the season Monday night, working into the 6th inning with a pair of Ks. Finally feeling like himself.
I feel like the first couple, I was just putting a little pressure on myself, trying to be perfect. Just kind of shifted the mindset to go out there and compete like I did the whole entire season last year and just give the team a chance to win, because can't really give the team a chance to win out there walking 3-4 guys every outing.
From American Family Field, I'm Dominic Cotroneo.
Coverage of Game 2 begins right after the 6 o'clock news here on WTMJ, and the NFL schedule is expected to be released on the evening of May 14th. Taking a look at your roads, the WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic Update. Pretty mild volume, and overall, things are moving around pretty freely about the system here. One notable slowdown spot is 41, both north and southbound. You're tapping the brakes as you're moving northbound just beyond Capitol Drive, in between Capitol and Hampton. Just a tap on the brakes there for a stretch near Mayfair Road. Coming southbound, a little bit different of a story. The backups, or delays, I should say, start about Mill Road, 175, all the way down to about North Avenue. So be mindful of that if you're headed through that stretch. 41 southbound, you're on the brakes. About a 3-minute delay working through that time. Beautiful day today. Plenty of sun and a high of 73 degrees inland. A little cooler near the lake. Mostly clear tonight and a low of 48. Wednesday, looking pretty good. A high of 65 degrees, partly cloudy. Chance of a sprinkle later in the evening. Sun returns in full force on Thursday with a high of 60 degrees, 68 and sunny on Friday. It's currently 58 and sunny in Milwaukee at 10:07. I'm Greg Matzik.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
Oh, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the big program. Kristin Brey alongside, as always.
We're doing just 2 hours of boat updates.
Boat updates.
The whole show.
So I have this. First of all, I'm surprised either Vinny or Eric from the Morning Zoo didn't go and chain themselves to the boat because they're so
invested
in this story. That would have been great. Obviously, video and local radio guy chains himself to the boat in the quest to keep it intact. And all the people crying on the shore, in this kumbaya moment that we're losing this cultural icon that is the Deep Thoughts boat.
I like the SS Minnow better.
Yeah. Well, I like Ginger and Marianne way better than the SS Minnow.
Well, no, we are not doing 2 hours of boat updates, but Adam Roberts is going to join us at 11:35 to give us a little update.
Which we are very excited about.
We are excited. We always love having Adam in here. But lots of things to get to today. We're going to have Josh Schoeman on to talk about his campaign launch.
Big news.
At 10:35. But we wanted to start with the Trump administration is escalating its fight with the media. Is that how we want to frame this? This time it's threatening to revoke the broadcast license of CBS, which is, I would say, an unprecedented move in modern times when it comes to free press and the First Amendment. So this was the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, in an interview with CNBC.
Are you threatening to pull their license? Wouldn't that be a pretty drastic step?
Well, it's not a threat. That's a penalty that is in the Communications Act that if you don't...
But when was the last time the FCC pulled a broadcast license?
Yeah, it's been a long time, and I think that's part of the issue. If you step back, trust in the national mainstream media is at an absolute low right now. That's not just my view. Jeff Bezos himself did an op-ed where he said that. But what's really interesting is that actually local stations, local TV stations have a lot of trust. And so the agenda that I'm trying to run at the FCC is to empower those actual local television stations to serve the public interest. Because what we've seen is you've got national news media, ABC, NBC, CBS, and they're exercising more and more control over those local TV stations. And I don't think that's a good thing for the country. So we're trying to reverse that.
Thoughts, Steve?
Okay, so the idea of this clause that he tried to mention there, and I know it's in our notes, the penalty phase of that
Communications Act.
It's talking about news distortion. Talking about news distortion. Just from a layperson's perspective, because someone out listening there in Radio Land or on watching on YouTube or whatever might say to themselves, I watch a lot of TV, and I would argue that maybe a Fox or some of the other networks, they make a living on news distortion. Are you going after those guys? Because that seems a rather, weird way to approach this story. And basically, this is all because the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, didn't like the reporting on CBS and 60 Minutes. So because he's angry about it, we're going to go to this, this trumped up, I used it on purpose, penalty clause of the Communications Act to sort of punish CBS. First of all, you're not pulling their license. There would be a revolt if you pulled the license.
Would there, though?
I would hope so.
That's the thing where I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people who would defend it. I'm sure we'll probably get texts right now that are people defending this.
Yeah, flat earthers, anti-vaxxers, yeah, those folks.
But in the escalation of things, as there's a new story every week, every day, and we talked about this yesterday as far as what do you respond to, whether it's the media, the public, your own social media, what do you respond to but you can't respond to everything, because if everything's hair on fire, nothing actually matters, right? And so it's at what point is the red line of is this the threat, and what do you actually do? Because I'm not convinced people would be in the streets if CBS got their license revoked.
If that happens, which it's not going to, it changes broadcasting. So then what's the line then? So local radio broadcaster, because he says something critical of Donald Trump, all of a sudden I'm under investigation? And then I'm supposed to fear that? So
right?
here's what's required. All those Republicans who tell me that, yeah, they voted for him, but they don't like some of the antics. Well, this is an antic gone wild, to use a term from a video franchise that we all remember from I think the 80s and 90s. This is a moment for us to all say, you know what, this is stupid. So whether it's the Alcatraz story or the going after CBS because you don't like what they said, or, some of the craziness that comes out of this president's mouth almost every day, election conspiracy, the fact that we had all of that nonsense. At some point, sane, rational Republicans have to say, he crossed the line. This is too much. I'm not doing this. And I guess for me, since I was never on the Trump train and I don't have the stink of Donald Trump on me, I never voted for him as a lifelong Republican, I don't have to worry about that. But it's going to be interesting to see how the reaction of these individuals who endorse this nonsense, and it's nonsense, because this is not sane, rational thought from a president, nor does it rise to the level of someone who serves in our highest office, that conduct should ever be acceptable. And I'm listening to the word. Actually, if you want to, here's an exercise for all of you. There's lots of websites where you can see the transcript of what a president says at some of his press release, some of his pressers. Read one of these things. Take the video out of it. Take the presentation out of it. Just read what he says. It's not coherent. It's rambling. It's psychotic, which leads me to say this president just might be bat-you-know-what crazy. That's what I say. And I'm sorry, Bill McCoshen and other people who endorse this guy. This is not normal behavior. This is Looney Tunes. This is Kane Mutiny stuff, chasing the strawberries that never existed in the first place. This is nuts. And the fact that we're putting up with this, I'm not doing it. How's that for a take?
Woo! Steve Scaffidi coming in hot this morning. Woo! Ditto.
I love that. Ditto on point taken.
Ditto. Yeah, I would say this is, again, when we talk about the intimidation factor of whether or not what will happen with the Judge Dugan case, but the criticism being what was the purpose of doing the perp walk and arresting her in the manner that they did, and it is to, the assumption is to make an example. And the same thing I think you can say is happening here potentially is, stop doing reporting that paints us in a bad light, and maybe you'll keep your license. It just comes back to being like mob boss mentality of insinuations, intimidation. And I said this in the first day of the show, which is now almost 3 weeks ago. Doesn't make me not think twice as far as what we say, how we say it, and the escalation. I think we're small fish compared to CBS and 60 Minutes.
I'm not playing a stupidity game, though. I'm not going to bow down to the...
Are you going to be like the woman who got carried out of the Republican lawmakers did you see this in New York?
Yeah.
Just with the 2 peace signs up as they carried her out of the town hall because she kept saying, answer the question. And that was too disruptive, and she is a radical leftist.
I love this text. Come on, GOP, grow up here. You're wasting our money. This is Looney Tunes stuff. I said it. I said it during the beginning. I was the only radio person in Milwaukee who was calling out this election conspiracy nonsense. I mean, I did it every day on the show because it was nonsense then. It's nonsense now, although apparently some school districts across this country are going to teach that nonsense.
So speaking of that, yes, in Oklahoma, they're not going to teach it as a historical fact. This is what happened in 2020, that there was allegations of fraud. They are going to teach it in a way that makes you think, have critical thinking skills. So Oklahoma is voting on this right now. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about that after this on Point Taken.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on May 20th.
Churio sends it deep to left, and there she goes!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Baltimore Orioles.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh my goodness, third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Construction Business Group. Tune in May 20th at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
Hey, it's WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Advent. You know I love talking about Advent because it changed my life and it could change yours as well. Do something about it. Don't put up with the restlessness and the tossing and turning. And boy, if you have a sleep partner, the snoring, which is not just bad for you health-wise, but can also disrupt their sleep cycle and their life too. I went to Advent, 30-minute visit. Asked all my questions. They put me at ease. We added in a really simple sleep study at home. Very easy. They determined my problem, sinuses, nasal passage, and my breathing triangle. After a short procedure done in office, I'm back to breathing better than ever. And more importantly, I'm sleeping through the whole night, and so is Kathy. That is the trick. And we're sleeping through the whole night because of Advent. If you struggle like I used to, take the time to see how Advent can help you. Find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better. Go to AdventKnows.com. AdventKnows.com. Don't wait. Schedule an appointment today because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Have you heard a lot of buzz about tariffs?
No.
Really?
What's a tariff?
It's a tax on imported goods.
Well, I've never heard of tariffs because 92.3% of Penny Mustard's furniture is made in the USA.
True.
In fact, most of it is built by local craftsmen and women right here in the Midwest.
And locally sourced furniture will never have a tariff on it.
Can we talk about this later? I'm tired of hearing about these tariffs.
So I guess you can say that all this talk about tariffs is taxing.
PennyMustard.com.
Nice choice. Good setup. All right, welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. He is Steve Scaffidi. And the Oklahoma Superintendent of Public Instruction, Ryan Walters. Have you heard of this?
Yes.
He's controversial, I would say, as far as the moves he's made when it comes to public schools in Oklahoma. But he has announced a new education policy for the state. This was last week, which includes the allegation that there were discrepancies in the 2020 election, which President Donald Trump baselessly claims were stolen from him. But it's under the guise of offering it as an alternate reality of what happened and having in social studies classes, teaching it as the truth.
So do we have like alternate reality moon landing course too that they're going to offer?
Exactly. And so obviously, as you might imagine, Oklahoma is a Republican state, and this is getting passed through in their state legislature. Obviously, there are some Democrats who are opposed to this, and so we have a little bit of audio from that.
Today,
regarding the Bible and the Ten Commandments. My staff has been looking at Oklahoma statute. We've been looking at Oklahoma academic standards. And it's crystal clear to us that in the Oklahoma academic standards, under Title 70, multiple occasions, the Bible is a necessary historical document to teach our kids about the history of this country, to have a complete understanding of Western civilization, to have an understanding of the basis of our legal system, and is frankly, when we're talking about the Bible, one of the most foundational documents used for the Constitution and the birth of our country.
That was the wrong clip. That wasn't the Democrat, but that is Ryan Walters talking, because they also, prior to this, that was his argument for teaching the Bible in public schools, which, again,
as a
division
person
of church and state.
As a person of faith, that offends me, because you're picking one document from one faith. That's a clear violation of the what we do in this country, what our Constitution says. And I see this stuff, and again, not to be a just blowing my smoke today, but it's just like
we really set you up for
because
the next one we were going to talk about this is Texas wanting to review all college and higher education hiring and faculty and programs, and it's what's so interesting to me is just, and you're the Republican here, you're the conservative. I'm
a real conservative, not a fake conservative.
What happened to less government control, like smaller government?
No, that's out the window now.
Like it's just, and how does one square those two things as far as we don't want our government, in these areas we don't want the government here, but in these areas we want the government dictating everyone's choices of what they learn, how they learn, who they marry, how they have a family, and all these other things. And it's like, what? So you do not want small government. You want government to enforce your ideology.
Yes, they want strict teaching of their ideology, in this case, based on the Bible, which it should not happen. And most Americans, I would think, would be overwhelmingly against it. Now, what they do in Oklahoma might be different than what we do in Wisconsin, and certainly with a Democratic governor. I'm blown away by this lack of common sense and logic. Because if you do things like this, first of all, you are dumbing down our educational system. You're dumbing down our population. Is that the goal?
But you're also teaching people a lie. And that is the thing when we talk about the Department of Education, which does not control curriculum, right? Like when they say, oh, send it back to the states, send it back to the states. Education's already run by the states. What the Department of Education does is enforces the fact that like every kid has a right to go to school. So that's kids with disabilities, it's kids who are from poverty, kids who, if we go back to the 1960s, are of different races. And so there's more like federal protections that the Department of Education gives to all kids and all students. But this is what I'm saying, when you send it, you have even more power back to the states, and we just have completely different set of facts of what history is, and you're only going to see more and more of this if there is no quality control, right?
So Republicans and some conservatives, I would argue, fake conservatives, would argue this is a sort of a response to what has happened in institutions of higher learning where it's gone way left. I think some of that's real. I think there's things that are taught in universities that, frankly, are a waste of time. Some of the wacky things that they teach now. I had a guy, I remember I was at DWM in grad school, and the guy was he was talking about the diamond industry and how it was like an affront to women. It's like, what do you? Is that something we should be learning about? It just was the dumbest argument. The diamond rings are bad, and the fact that women wear them is sort of this. Well,
now they can just create those in a lab.
Yeah, which maybe that rectified the problem. Anyway, it was just like this long-winded lecture that I'm listening to, and I don't even remember the class anymore. It was just, what are we doing here? Why am I wasting my time with this nonsense? And so there's some of that going on. And you got it, even as a liberal, you got to admit there's some pretty far left stuff happening on college campuses. You're not like Berkeley. I used to live close to Berkeley.
I went to Berkeley.
Yeah, you know what that's like. Come on.
Berkeley was not.
Were you there when the guy was walking around nude all the time? Was that around in your era, or was that before?
I was there when there was the protests in the trees.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot what they were even protesting at this point, but there was people like living in the trees.
It was an environmental protest.
Yeah, near the football stadium.
Yeah.
Was it invited? Yeah. Yeah. I was there when the tree protest, but I don't think they were students. I think they were just
I don't know. But anyway,
paid protesters.
So some conservatives, some Republicans see this as a response to all of that, whether you believe it or not. I just think this is your argument is you don't want to dumb down our universities, but you're actually doing the very thing you're fighting against. It's like you're just making it even dumber. And maybe the goal is to have a stupid population. Well, good luck with that.
Easier to control.
Perhaps. We are on this, I can't wait till Friday because I'm just really, really fired up about this stuff. How many, and going back to original.
Stick it to Bill?
I might have to because at some point you got to wake the hell up and stop defending nonsense. Alcatraz and the like. Come on, Bill. Anyway, he'll be here on Friday. Actually, he's going to be on the phone Friday. But he'll be here.
Be able to see his
reaction?
His off the air reaction.
I may start the show with that because I think defense of stupidity is something that is now a party talking point. Our guy says it, therefore it must be true.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back in a minute. This is Point Taken on WTMJ.
When we're out in your town, come say hi as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show, wherever we may be.
You can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
News Radio 620 WTMJ.
Hey, WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi. Let's talk about Heiser. You know I love talking about Heiser, right? Because I have driven their vehicles for 5 years. They are awesome, great company. 5 great locations right here in southeast Wisconsin. You can find it all at Heiser.com, whether that's a new vehicle, pre-owned, you want to schedule body shop work or car service or an oil change, all very easy, Heiser.com. All your vehicles, pre-owned and new. You should get the vehicle of your dreams, and Heiser can make that possible for you. What else are they doing? All the great programs, of course, Safe and Sound, Vehicle Exchange, Roadside Assistance for Life. How about this? Paintless debt removal. I just heard about this the other day from one of the Heiser guys. Amazing stuff that they're doing at Heiser. That's why they're number one at customer service. That's why you'll never be disappointed if you go to Heiser for a vehicle. I just bought a new vehicle from them last year. Beautiful Chevy Trailblazer. I've known their vehicles, all their brands for 5 years. It is a great local company, and that's why they can say every day, like I say all the time, today's your day.
A Brewers group outing is the best way to celebrate any special occasion. Whether it's a birthday party, anniversary, or bachelor party, baseball is better with a group. Grab your crew of just 15 or more for an event you won't forget. Brewers account reps make your day at the ballpark a breeze. Plus, get set up with customizable tailgate spaces, seating blocks in your favorite location at American Family Field, and much more. Start planning your group outing now at brewers.com/groups.
Mother's Day is almost here. Don't forget your mom. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Take your mother and your grandmother to the brunch buffet at the Mine Shaft Restaurant in Hartford. Locally family-owned for over 46 years. One of my favorite places. It's so much fun. It is the most generous and affordable Mother's Day brunch. It's everything your mom loves for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All you can eat with a huge dessert table and just $24.99. Kids and grandkids under 3 eat for free. That's pretty cool. Your mom can relax with a Bloody Mary, a mimosa, a glass of wine on her special day, and no cooking, no cleanup. And those kids can safely play in the world-class game room, quietly tucked away from the dining area while you finish up your brunch. The Mine Shaft is very family-friendly. It's big food, it's big fun, all day long. You'll not spend a lot of money on your Mother's Day brunch at the Mine Shaft. Tables fill quickly. Call and reserve today. Visit MineShaftRestaurant.com in beautiful downtown Hartford. It's the amazing Mine Shaft.
All right, Girl Scouts of Wisconsin Southeast helps build girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. Ready to grow, explore, and shine? Join Girl Scouts with the extended year membership by June 30th and get up to 18 months of fun. Girls starting kindergarten or first grade even get 3 awesome activity books and a special gift for free. Visit www.gswise.org to join today. Speaking of Girl Scouts, because I was a brownie.
Were you a Girl Scout?
I was a brownie until 3rd grade. I had a little late night snack of the shortbread Girl Scout cookies last night. Did not put them away. So Frankie had cookies for breakfast. I came out. I was in the bathroom getting ready, and Mike's like, "What does she have that like I feel her like I can hear her wrestling with like a plastic bag?" And I went out and just.
She went to town?
Who stole the cookie from the cookie jar? She didn't really steal it because I left it out there for her.
That's one of my favorite cookies.
They're really good.
You know, I'm a milk drinker. I don't know if you know that about me, but I love milk. Ice cold glass of milk with a shortbread cookie. Are you kidding me? Now I've learned because I could eat a whole sleeve in my day. Couple cookies is all you need. Enjoy the milk. The cookie's just a treat.
What percentage milk? Do you do do whole milk?
No, 2%.
2%?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was my go-to.
All right.
Yeah, I think I have a 2% in the fridge right now.
I feel like you might have needed a glass of milk to calm down after the spicy first half hour we had.
Well, defending stupidity somehow, I don't understand how people can do that.
How much of this are you going to ask Josh Schoeman when he have him on the phone?
He's
when we come back after the bottom of the hour news?
He's been posting about Trump, so we'll see what he has to say
We'll
about
ask him about that when he's on. So stay with us. Josh Schoeman joins us after the ABC News and local headlines with the one, the only, Greg Matzek.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The Trump administration saying it will pay immigrants who are in the country illegally $1,000 if they return to their home countries voluntarily. The Department of Homeland Security issuing a news release saying it will also pay for travel assistance for people who self-deport. The conclave in Rome begins officially tomorrow. The vows of secrecy, however, are being taken this week. ABC's Terry Moran is there.
Once those cardinals are sequestered inside the Vatican, they'll have to surrender their cell phones, no TV, no internet, no messages or communications of any time. In order to make this great decision they have before them, they'll have to rely on each other and maybe their prayers.
The delays and cancellations of travel tie-ups are continuing at Newark Airport because of construction and also that shortage of air traffic controllers. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney is at the White House today. He's having lunch with President Trump, and then they'll talk tariffs. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 10:31, 63 degrees and sunny at the Avenue in Milwaukee. I'm Greg Matzek. A teen is dead in an early morning shooting. Police responded about 2:30 this morning near 39th and Cherry on Milwaukee's Central City side. They found 17-year-old with gunshot wounds who died at the scene. Police are looking for known suspects. A Senex grocery store closes to clean up a health hazard. Milwaukee Health Department inspections reveal an escalating rodent problem at the Downer Avenue store. MHD first discovered mouse and rat droppings in basement storage areas away from food. Then a reinspection 2 weeks later found droppings in the dry food storage area. Another follow-up on Monday found droppings in the kitchen and in retail space. MHD issued an immediate closure for the store to clean and sanitize and work with pest control provider. And reminders about the road closures today for the 7th attempt to remove the abandoned boat on Milwaukee's lakefront. There's a crowd watching currently. Lincoln Memorial Drive is closed in both directions between Lafayette Hill Road and East Water Tower Road until 4 o'clock this afternoon. The North Point parking lot is also closed. A 250-foot perimeter will be established around the boat for any spectators. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. A day of red here on the indices. The Dow currently off about 170 points at 41,052. NASDAQ off about 100 today at 17,750. S&P 500 is off about 20 today at 5630. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com. Taking a look at your roads, the WTMJ Time Saver traffic update. Volume is relatively light. Things moving about pretty well in the system. The notable exception here is 41 south, beginning around 175, a little south of that actually, right around Silver Spring, all the way through Watertown Plank. You are on the brakes. Some heavy traffic through that area. Construction zone and volume building slowing things down. 41 northbound, you're pretty good overall. Just slight tap on the brakes as you make the branch north from 94, and a bit of a delay between North Avenue and Hampton. Beautiful day of weather here with temperatures expected to reach the mid-70s inland. You're in the upper 60s, closer to the lake. Mostly clear tonight at a low of 48. Partly cloudy and breezy with a high of 65 on Wednesday. Sun returns in full force on Thursday with a high of 60. Right now in Plover, it's 70. Peshtigo, 62. 68 in Prairie du Sac. It's 64 at the Avenue. I'm Greg Matzek. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 10:34.
Jake suffered with carpal tunnel syndrome.
Tingling numbness in my hands and fingers, not sleeping well at night, tossing and turning, trying to manage with pain pills and stretching, and it just wasn't helping.
He didn't want the traditional invasive carpal tunnel surgery.
I had seen people with bandages and scars and clubs for hands. I just don't have time to be incapable of doing things for 6 to 8 to 10 weeks.
Then he learned about the Ovation Hand Institute and the Ovation Technique, an ultra minimally invasive procedure done in the office.
I wanted to get it looked at sooner than later. So I had the virtual consult. It was very thorough as far as like I was sitting in a doctor's office. I was booked for the procedure 2 weeks later, had my right hand done. Very quick procedure. It was really great. That very night when I went home, it was the first time in probably 3 months my hand did not wake me up.
Book an appointment with the Ovation Hand Institute and find out if you're a candidate for the Ovation Technique.
Probably the most surprising thing was how quickly I was able to do things again. I'm cooking dinner, I'm doing yard work and all that kind of stuff the next day.
Visit ovationhand.com. ovationhand.com.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
Yeah, when you say your Hasselus mattress showrooms are employee-free, you don't really mean it, right?
Of course we mean it. No employees. Give the mattresses a try with no pushy sales guy.
Why no employees?
To save you money.
How much money?
Well, others sell a Beauty Sleep by Beauty Rest Elm Cove B Queen for $16.59, but the everyday Hasselus price is just $8.42.
Whoa, Nelly.
We also have way low pricing on our selection of Sealy Posturepedic and more.
Well, that's pretty good.
And through Monday, purchase a select Beauty Rest or Sealy Posturepedic mattress in any size and receive a free adjustable base.
That's exceptionally good.
Plus, free next day delivery, removal and setup of your new mattress, and free financing is available too.
All because your showrooms are employee-free?
Yes, sir.
I like the way you do business.
Get a free adjustable base now through Monday at Hasselus Mattress. Open 9 to 9. Get all the details and find the self-service employee-free showroom near you at Hasselus.com.
Oh, even when he's not here, he gets his theme music from Washington County. County Executive Josh Shulman. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Happy Hump Day Eve for those who celebrate.
See, now
we're adding that in.
See,
Hump
Josh
Day
knows
Eve.
I love to talk about Hump Day
We're
so much.
almost to halfway through the week.
All right, so the big news, Mr. County Executive Josh Shulman, is that you announced your candidacy for the Republican nomination for governor next year. So let's walk through something. I'm not surprised because I've talked to both you and your wife about this at other locations away from the show and on the show. Walk me through it because these are not easy decisions to make. What's going on in your head on this topic, this decision to get into this race?
Yeah, no, they're not easy decisions at all, and I don't think any one person who thinks they've got all the answers is being honest with themselves. But listen, I've been all over the state in the last 9 months. Starting last September on the Trump bus tour, I think I did 8 stops there, and then a candidate for Senate, Eric Hovde, and then of course this spring, as you know, in the Schimmel campaign. And you know, I was really focused on getting people excited for those campaigns, and you know, trying to help and be a team player everywhere I could. And every time I'd finish, I'd have these people coming up to me and you know, talking to me, and eventually it turned into such a fever pitch that it was people praying over me and pleading with me to consider running. And so one day I went home to my wife, Jody, and said, you know, this is really happening, and I feel like it's more than just talk. I feel like it's a calling. You know, I'm the son of a Lutheran minister, and my faith's super important to me. I felt like the Lord's calling me to do it. And so, you know, we've been talking for months now, my wife and I and my boys, and, you know, decided to throw our hat in the ring. And you know what? No matter how hard it gets, and it will get hard, it'll be easier than the months spent in Kuwait and Iraq. So there's that.
There's always that. All right, Josh. So like you said, you spent the last 9 months on these different campaigns. One of those campaigns obviously ended positively for the campaign, being Trump's reelection. Hovde did not get reelected. Schimmel obviously did not reelected. Hovde did not get elected, and Schimmel did not get elected. So as far as what you've learned about the Wisconsin GOP and the voters in Wisconsin who typically vote Republican, what have you learned from those different campaigns that you're trying to emulate in your campaign?
Well, I think the biggest thing that I learned was that people want to just be listened to, right? Which is not a surprise. I mean, that's who we are as human beings. And, you know, I think getting more local as local as we possibly can. I think there's a lot of time and attention given to the big cities and the big venues. And even when you get down to, even in the Milwaukee area, you get down to the local level in neighborhoods instead of trying to do the macro. Point being, you meet people where they're at and you listen to them. And that's the kind of governor I want to be, focused on the people, putting the power in the hands of the people, and together helping to create a collectively shared vision that we can bring to Madison and really help the state to prosper.
Washington County Executive Josh Shulman joining us on Point Taken, Kristin and Steve. I've had you on the show so many times for more than a year plus, and all of our conversations sort of focused on your idea of local government. How do you translate those ideas, which I love because it was inclusive. It wasn't talking about, I'm talking about the people who voted for me. You were talking about all the citizens of Washington County. How do you take that same messaging to your run for governor and those people who may not generally vote for Republicans? How do you make that case?
Well, it's really hard. First of all, I mean, this is a big state. Geographically, there's a lot of miles we're going to put on, and that in and of itself is a huge challenge. But one of the things that I love most about Wisconsin is that it seems like no matter where you go, there's someone who knows you. And what I learned that as a young kid. I mentioned I was the son of a Lutheran minister. We moved around a lot when I was a youngster. And I used to think it was the biggest curse of my life. Like I never settled in one place. I didn't have a community that I could call my own. Now that I'm older and I've raised my kids in Washington County, what I realized is that was the biggest blessing in my life because I don't just have neighbors in one place. I have neighbors all across the state of Wisconsin. And in Wisconsin, we love our neighbors.
There you go. Oh, you have a trick question?
Yeah, just real quick. I mean, you got to ask the Trump question, right? I know you supported Donald Trump. You know what I say about Donald Trump. You probably listened to some of what I said earlier today. I'm not a supporter of Donald Trump, but I'm a supporter of Republicans, and I consider myself a conservative, but not in the Trump sense. What do you say to Republicans who don't like Donald Trump, don't like some of his antics, but yet want to support a Republican? How are you different, or maybe the way you think about politics or leadership, than maybe the President of the United States does?
Well, I think this is going to be one of the important facets of this campaign that maybe insiders might have some acknowledgement of, but most people probably don't think about it because they're living their lives, taking care of their families, working jobs. But I represent Washington County, and the WOW counties and the suburban areas have definitely changed, politically speaking. And I think part of it is, you mentioned it just a moment ago, with the word antics. I would say, his style is much more New York brawler. My style is much more son of a Lutheran minister, Wisconsin nice. But look at what I've done in Washington County, and we've talked about this at length over the last several years. In my tenure there, we have shrunk government in every metric possible. And I don't say that like, slash and burn, we cut things, like government shouldn't exist. I'm not a no government guy. I'm a small government guy. And the reason I'm a small government guy is because there are some really critical, important services that only the public sector can provide. Law enforcement, mental health services, our roads and infrastructure. Obviously, outside of county government, you get into education and things like that. We have to be very focused on just those few things because they are critically important to people's lives, to driving our economy. When we get bloated bureaucracy and focused on other things, DEI and this other stuff, you lose the focus on those programs, which really translates to you losing the focus on the people. And the minute you've lost focus on the people, you're failing. And I believe that's what has happened with Governor Evers. Too focused on the institutions and the bureaucracy and not focused enough on the people.
Well, Josh, it's interesting that you bring up shrinking government because in the first half hour of the show, we were talking about that being a core conservative value. And yet there seems to be kind of in the national conversation, more and more overreach, especially on social issues of the government, the book bans, the Oklahoma public instructor wanting to teach more about the fraudulent election and all the discrepancies there. And so as far as where do you stand on some of those social issues and government's role in dictating that?
Well, this push and pull of how much liberty and individual liberty and freedom And while the government is trying to secure our inalienable rights, is always something, as long as American history has been going on, we've wrestled with and struggled with in an abundance of different areas. But here's the thing that I think is important: how society plays out versus how local government, state government function are two separate things. There's some, as I mentioned before, healthcare, Badger Care. There's some really critical services that we provide, and I know it's easy to want to get sucked into some of the woke culture and what is happening, in our culture in general. But when we lose focus on delivering those services really well, I mean, those are, you go back to college education, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Those needs start to suffer. It's really hard. I had a conversation with somebody just recently about housing. Steve knows I have a very big passion for this, making small homes on small lots affordable for people again, because we don't do it in America anymore. And they started to get into this. Well, let's talk about, we should have renewable energy as part of this conversation. And I just said, listen, it's not that I'm against renewable energy. These people can't even afford the houses as they are now. Now we're going to put on an additional cost and an additional burden. Yes, it might pay in the long haul. They can't even afford to pay the rent they're paying now. So I think we got to look at things through the lens of people. And when we start to do that, the conversation changes, and the conversation is what's most important. We need to be talking to one another again.
He is Josh Shulman, Washington County Executive, now a candidate for the Republican nomination for governor. Let's keep the lines of communication open. I look forward to this campaign as it unfolds over the next year or so. You're always welcome on the program.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate being on. Please go visit my website, joshshulman.com. Love to have all of you involved, and let's have the conversation neighbor to neighbor all across the state. Thank you, guys. God bless.
All right. Josh Shulman. We got to get to break.
I know.
I wanted to get them all in one segment because it's just easier to talk about. All right. We'll take a quick break. Kristin and Steve, Point Taken PT, as they call it.
We love being a trusted friend in the community for those who need an attorney but don't know where to turn. Our clients aren't the kind of people who typically bring lawsuits. Our clients have been hurt in a crash or accident and need our help and advice. I'm Frank Pasternak of Pasternak & Zergabel. Jeff Zergabel and I are injury attorneys living, working, and giving back in our community. When you need help from exceptional personal injury lawyers, go to Pasternak & Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com.
Hi, I'm Jim Token, president of Adam, the automobile dealers of Metro Milwaukee. I want to thank all the participating new car member dealers, and especially all of you who helped us recently present a check to Feeding America of Eastern Wisconsin for over $72,000, just by having your oil changed at an Adam member dealer. The donation provided over 220,000 healthy meals to those in need. Thank you again for changing your oil and changing lives.
This change has leveled us up while being able to maintain the same quality of service that we've always provided, with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission. We're proud to be part of the Century 21 family, so you can move fearlessly with the added confidence of top-of-the-line marketing for maximum home exposure. And that means more eyeballs and the real potential for the highest price for your home. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. With the ability to market luxury homes on a higher scale than ever before, Century 21 Benefit Realty has taken a huge step forward to tap into a global network of buyers. Maximum exposure to spotlight your unique home with our fine homes and estates marketing so you can sell it for the highest price. And with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission, you win. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
So he said to me, boy, oh boy, do you got the boulders. And I said, you betcha. And he said, do you mind if I cherry pick? And I said, feel free. They're all beautiful, and they're all granite. Sparkling pinks, blues, and grays from 4 to 36 inches. And they're all priced right, because we buy direct from the source nationwide to give you the look you want. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection. Well, if you need flagstone for your new natural patio, Erickson's is the place to find it. We have the largest selection and 15 styles to choose from. And for decorative stone, Erickson's is your best choice. Our decorative stone is trucked in from all over the country. We buy straight from the quarry and cut out the middleman to keep your prices nice and low. Erickson's Landscape Supply. High-quality mulch and stone for a whole lot less. Commercial or residential, visit ericksonslandscapesupply.com to see our entire selection.
Ready to grow, explore, and shine? Join Girl Scouts with the extended year membership by June 30th and get up to 18 months of fun. Plus, girls starting kindergarten or first grade get 3 awesome activity books and a special gift free. Visit girlscouts.org and join the adventure today.
Believe it or not, we still have another break to take. We're going to talk a lot to candidates on this program because these are big races.
Well, and this is going to be a fascinating race because it's going to be midterms, right? Like it is
and that changes a lot of
with,
things.
We will not have a U.S. Senate race in 2026. We will have, as always, every 2 years, we're going to reelect all of our Congress people. And we will also reelect potentially our sitting governor if he decides to run again, or it will be no incumbent, and it will be a very exciting race. But so much of the race will be the temperature of this current Trump administration.
And I sort of asked it, but I should have done a follow-up with County Executive Josh Schoeman is, okay, so we've seen the results in Wisconsin of the Trump endorsement, and it hasn't really been that good. Hasn't worked out well. Obviously, Trump won the state, so you have to give him credit for that. I mean, if you're a Republican and you vote for Trump, you love that reality, and you love the fact that he's president. But on the other, the Michaels and the
Hubty,
and even Judge Dan
and
Kelly.
Schimel and Dan Kelly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the truth is
that's not necessarily a win for you.
You look at the record of the statewide races for Republicans. If you take Trump out of it, Ron Johnson.
Mm-hmm. And Trump.
Yeah. Right? In the last basically 10 years.
Congressman, too. There's
Congress, but that's not a statewide race. I'm talking about the state in when everyone is voting for one candidate.
Yeah. The record's not good. So that I think you have to weigh that. And I'll ask him next time he comes on the show. I think you have to weigh
it's Brian Hagedorn. Now my brain's thinking 2019.
Yeah, Justice Hagedorn, yeah. So it's an interesting conversation that we're going to continue to explore. But we're going to have candidates on the show on both sides because that's what the show does really well. Kristin, Steve. All right, I want to give some love to a group that maybe you're not thinking about today. And it's a group that I've received great care in my many surgeries over the years on my knees. And it's a group that I want to talk about after the break. It's an appreciation day for one specific group. I'll tell you who that is after this on Point Taken. Loyalty, family. Few things are more important. This is WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi and Loyal Family Renovations. They saved the day after a brutal storm in Oak Creek. Hail damage, yeah, I had a lot of it. But Jeff, Jake, and the whole team, absolute pros, made the entire process smooth as can be. Let's be honest, not everyone knows how to deal with adjusters. They handle all the questions, quick answers, top-notch customer service. In just 2 days, my roof was done. If storm damage hits, call the team that made it easy for me. Loyal Family Renovations. Visit loyalfamilyrenovations.com.
Buying a new roof might not be the most exciting thing you'll do this year, but for us at Big Fish Contracting, being chosen to do that roof for you not only provides income for multiple families in southeastern Wisconsin, but has a global reach and impact around the world. To us, it's more than just a roof. We've been earning trust for over 2 decades, roofing, siding, windows, and more. Go to bigfishcontracting.com to learn how Big Fish is renovating homes and redeeming an industry.
Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. Get your aches and pains under control. But not only that, regular care with Connect Chiro can bring back your energy. A lot of folks start with headaches, back pain, and shoulder pain. How quickly you see results varies from person to person, but time and repetition are the key to staying on track. No twisting, no cracking, no popping. Connect Chiro docs use a special tool for all your adjustments, targeted results, and a gentler experience. Check out the new location in Oak Creek or get started at goconnectchiro.com.
Summer's getting closer, and Brewers action at American Family Field is only heating up. Don't miss a Midwestern throwdown between the Brewers and the Twins, May 16th through the 18th. Get a Jedi Jack Centurio Star Wars night bobble with a special theme night ticket on the 16th. Then get here early for an exclusive Brewers cribbage board giveaway for the first 25,000 fans on the 17th. Presented by 620 WTMJ. Get tickets at brewers.com.
Ready for an exciting change?
At Merle Norman, we can take your look from ordinary to extraordinary in a matter of minutes. Our innovative skincare, perfectly matched foundations, and on-trend colors will make a difference that's written all over your face. Come in and see what a makeover can do. We'll help you select products that are just right for you, and we'll teach you tips that pros know about applying your most flattering shades. Ask for your free express makeover today at Merle Norman Cosmetics Salon and Spa at Brookfield Square.
The Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center is here in New Berlin, and it's ready for you and your team. From little leaguers to hardcore players and trainers, this is the place you'll want to be.
You can't beat Bernhardt.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News is here for you, bringing you the latest headlines with John McCure.
Officials say that she allegedly tried to help an undocumented immigrant avoid arrest after he appeared in her courtroom.
And diving into the details with Julia Fellow.
Making an example of someone, he tweeted, "No one is above the law," FBI Director Kash Patel.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Afternoon News, where your day's story unfolds. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Only here on WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
I didn't want to get out of here today without... No, we're not done.
We're not done. We still got another hour, buddy.
But I'm a big fan of nurses because I saw it on full display when my mother-in-law passed, and both as she was in the hospital and in her hospice care, nurses stepped up in such a big way, and they were so generous and informative and helpful. And it's National Nurses Week, but today is National Nurses Day. So,
nurses and teachers have to share a week?
Yeah, well, there's only so many weeks. There's a lot of that, actually.
Feels like two very prominent ones that should be separated.
So whether
I don't make the rules.
Whether it's in hospice care, regular hospital work, doctor's office, emergency care, which, by the way, if you have a story about an emergency room nurse, please share it with me because salute to service.
Mm-hmm.
We honor. I love the honor. I did a couple of years ago. I did two of them in one of the years. Great stories. But I've met so many of these individuals who work really hard. I have this thing I do with doctors and nurses. Doctors get the big paychecks. Nurses do the heavy lifting. I mean, let's be real about this. They're like doing the dirty work. Doctors show up for a couple minutes. How you doing? Look at your chart. Oh, you'll be fine. They walk out, and the nurses doing all the other stuff, right? So that's the reality for nurses. I love the work that you do, and I love the fact that you get recognition for it. And you don't get enough recognition.
They would not. I don't think they get enough. That's what. Whenever I the Daisy Awards.
Yes.
Whenever there's always flyers in the hospital when I had Frankie. I didn't even know who to nominate because everyone was so great. And most recently, my Uncle Doug was in the hospital in Madison, and he's doing fine. He's back home. But it was touch and go for a minute, and my mom was there the whole time, and I went to sit with her for a day. And just for people who do not, my Uncle Doug has Down syndrome and cannot communicate very well. And just the kindness and the care they had for him and how they treated him and how they were all pretty emotional when he actually got to go home and just the empathy that nurses have and how they treat their patients is just incredible.
They don't just do it. They feel it. And they express that. And that's what I love about nurses. So happy Nurses Day. And I always make this offer because I've done it for years now. And about 12 people took me up on it last year at State Fair. If you are a nurse or a doctor, show me your ID. I buy you your drink at State Fair. I had 12 people showed up. They come to the studio at State Fair. And
we'll be at State Fair this year.
Yeah, for 2 hours. And they wave their little ID, and then I go buy them a drink when I'm done. I love that. And you learn the greatest stories.
They wave their little ID.
Yeah, their little hospital IDs, and I buy them a drink. So that offer stands this year at State Fair as well.
But you're not cheap.
No, trust me, they're
State
not.
Fair drinks, not cheap.
One year, I think I had 4 or 5 nurses. That bill is like $70. But they deserve it, so I'm happy to do that. All right, we got to get out of here. We got news coming up with John McCure and a whole nother hour of Point Taken with Kristin and Steve on this Tuesday edition right here on 620 WTMJ.
We didn't write the headline, the Wall Street Journal did. The days of set and forget investing just ended for many Americans. Economic uncertainty and global unrest. It's a wake-up call. Standard financial advice is to avoid making rash decisions during market turmoil. But retirement planning isn't a set it and forget it process anymore. That's where Annex Wealth Management comes in. As fee-only fiduciaries, we craft personalized plans that adapt as needed. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Head to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Badger Fence. If you listen to the show over the years, you know I've talked about my beautiful new cedar fence installed at my home. Well, the company I trusted with that job is Badger Fence. They've been installing high-quality, durable fences in the area since, get this, 1945. Proud member of the Better Business Bureau with an A-plus rating. Doesn't get any better than that. As well as a member of the National Association of the Remodeling Industry. If privacy, security, and a wide choice of fence styles are top of mind when you choose a fence for your property, then Badger Fence is the right company. They're licensed, bonded, and insured using the best materials in the industry. Badger Fence knows that premium fence materials, design options, and affordability all play an important role in your overall satisfaction. So whether you want wood, which is what we chose, ornamental, chain link, even PVC, they can help you choose the right materials for your fencing project. We love our fence, and when my wife Kathy and I were shopping around for fence companies, we found the right match with Badger Fence. To set up an appointment to talk with Badger Fence about your project, go to badgerfence.com. Badgerfence.com. Tell them Scaffidi from WTMJ sent you.
Pain, tingling, burning in your hand and wrist, wakes you up at night, makes life difficult. Working with your hands is nearly impossible. If that sounds like you may suffer with carpal tunnel syndrome. The problem is Medicare pays for the old open surgery done in a hospital or surgery center. And it's no walk in the park. Big incision, 6-week recovery. I mean, imagine your hands being bandaged up, unable to use it for 6 weeks. So if you want to, you can have that old open surgery the government says to get, or you have another option. An ultra minimally invasive procedure done in the office that can give you immediate relief in 15 minutes and you are back to your life in just one day. The Ovation Technique, only at Ovation Hand Institute. You've suffered long enough. You don't have to put the fix off anymore. Visit ovationhand.com and see the difference with your own eyes. ovationhand.com.
Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all.
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 Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
One call, that's all.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
Built Right. One location saves you money.
You gotta get to Built Right today.
American Family Field gets invaded by the Astros.
Breaking ball hammered deep, right center field, way back. Cam Smith at the track, no ball, goodbye. Yelich delivers a 2-run, 2-out home run in the third.
The Crew take on the Invaders starting tonight at 6:05 on your home for the Milwaukee Brewers. 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
I'm John Mercure. Lots of sunshine today. A little bit of a lake breeze, a high of 73. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 48. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, an update on removing Milwaukee's abandoned boat from Lake Michigan.
A crowd of around 100 gathered on the lakefront, fixated on the work process to remove Deep Thought, which has been stuck in Lake Michigan since mid-October. All City Towing leading Tuesday's removal efforts, with the front end of the boat slightly out of the water. A small crack has formed on the bow, but the crew remains determined to have this boat out of the lake by the end of the day. Lincoln Memorial Drive will remain closed while All City continues their work. On the lakefront, Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Police are searching for a suspect who broke into Twisted Plants vegan restaurant in West Dallas just before midnight Sunday and took off with the cash register. Surveillance footage shows a white male about 6 feet tall with a medium build smashing the glass door, taking the register, and fleeing in an orange Honda Element. He stole about $1,000 in cash. Anyone with information should contact the West Dallas Police Department. Recently elected Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney is meeting with President Trump at the White House today amid tensions between Canada and the U.S., mainly over the president's tariff policies. ABC's Karen Travers.
Mark Carney was propelled to his election win in part because of anger in Canada over some of Trump's comments about trying to make Canada the 51st state and also this ongoing trade war. The tariffs that the president has put on Canada, 25% on Canadian goods, 10% on Canadian oil imports, and other tariffs that have been put in place. This has really rocked the Canadian economy and really made things difficult with the relationship between the U.S. and Canada.
Canada has retaliated with tariffs on U.S. imports, including on metal and cars. And cleanup efforts in the Pacific Palisades continue 5 months after wildfires raged through portions of Los Angeles County.
Phase 1 of the cleanup efforts included removing hazardous materials.
We have a house that is 3 stories, and they found measurable amounts of lead on all floors of our house.
Burlington native and Pacific Palisades resident Caitlin Morrell has been out of her home since January.
A lot of people aren't seeing payouts from insurance yet, and they're having to start replacing things, remediating things.
Phase 2 of the plan includes removing debris with the goal of facilitating rebuilding. Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the red at the moment. The Dow is down 230. The NASDAQ is off 104. The S&P 500 is down 28 points. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:04. Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here for Colders. Listen to this testimonial from a real customer. Quote, did you know that Colders offers a lifetime delivery membership? 2 weeks ago, I purchased a gold tier membership, which means I get free delivery for life on furniture, appliances, and mattresses at Colders. They went on. I walked into the Colders showroom looking for new furniture. I left with high-quality furniture, a brand new mattress, and a lifetime membership that covers free delivery for life. Furniture, appliances, mattresses, whatever I need going forward, I won't pay another delivery fee ever. I know. I also have the lifetime membership. It gives me access to exclusive sales like the annual Lifetime Delivery Day sale, which is coming up very soon at my place, Colders. It's one of the ways that Colders takes care of its customers. If you're furnishing your home or upgrading your appliances, go to Colders. Better service, better quality, real value. I just bought bedroom furniture there. It is the best. Guaranteed best prices. Selection is great. Team is awesome. It's Colders.
Step up to quality furniture. Get more for your money at Colders.
It's Gina Della. You've heard me define what makes Pella Windows and Doors different. Let me introduce you to the woman behind the billboards, commercials, and share my extraordinary journey of resilience, reinvention, and shattering glass ceilings every Saturday morning at 6:30 on 620 WTMJ and anywhere you stream podcasts for What's the Difference with Gina Della to discuss business coaching across all industries, featuring successful executives, entrepreneurs, and mentors along the way. This is a story you won't want to miss.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Mother's Day is Sunday. Buy one dinner, get one free every night this week at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club near Holy Hill. The drive through the Kettle Moraine Forest is spectacular. Reserve today. Visit foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk. The Brewers take game 1 against the Astros. 5-1 last night. That makes 2 wins in a row for the Crew.
A key piece for the Brewers from 2024, back on track. Tobias Myers earned his first win of the season Monday night, working into the 6th inning with a pair of Ks. Finally feeling like himself.
I feel like the first couple, I was just putting a little pressure on myself, trying to be perfect. Just kind of shifted the mindset to go out there and compete like I did the whole entire season last year and just give the team a chance to win, because can't really give the team a chance to win out there walking 3-4 guys every outing.
From American Family Field, I'm Dominic Cotroneo.
Coverage of Game 2 starts right after the 6 o'clock news here on WTMJ. Checking out those roads. It's your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Check this out. I love this. There's a lot of green everywhere on the system. One little disabled vehicle on the exit ramp from Moreland Road if you're on 94 East. That's it. The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, lots of sunshine, a high of 73. Tonight, mostly clear, 48. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, breezy, a high of 65. Thursday, sunny, 60. Friday, mostly sunny, 68 degrees. And on Saturday, partly cloudy, a high of 74. And Madison, right now, mostly sunny and 67. In Green Bay, it's sunny and 68. Here in Milwaukee, sunshine and 65 degrees. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08. I'm John Mercure.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
Welcome back to the 11 o'clock hour. Will it be as spicy as the first hour was? Only Steve knows.
Can you talk more? Because I have like 6 emails I have to answer right now. Can you just do the show? Seriously, everybody wants something right now.
Well, and this topic is more, I don't know if it's philosophical. It's, has some historical context to it. It's not as controversial, but I'm fascinated by it because this could be the beginning of bringing back the company town, which we haven't seen with the heyday of company towns, or what, like end of the 19th century, early 20th century, 1880, 19, like up until during the Depression.
Remember I mentioned to you, we had one in Oak Creek, Carrollville, which was along the lake.
What was the company?
You know, I'm forgetting the name. Someone's going to tell me. 'Cause I should know this off the top of my head, but maybe it was Peter Cooper, maybe the other companies. They were there for a long time, and they had all these people that lived in company houses, which are still there, by the way, that are all sort of remodeled, right along Lake Drive there. That's not the name of the street, but along that street, across from the area where all these foundries and all these places were happening. And it existed in this country in a lot of different ways. Northern Wisconsin had some of these things.
So we're talking about this because there was a vote yesterday in Texas, in South Texas, to make Starbase, what is the headquarters of Elon Musk's SpaceX company, now is going to be an official city in Texas. Yeah. So this is a big win for Elon Musk.
It's a slam dunk. 212 out of 218 eligible voters.
Most of them are SpaceX employees. And they began promoting the idea a couple years ago after he chose this. It's like a southernmost point of Texas. And so why this matters. So it's a 1.45 square mile area, and there isn't much there right now besides SpaceX launch pads, rocket assembly facilities, and employee housing. But now the candidates running unopposed for mayor and 2 commissioner posts are SpaceX employees. The town leaders, they can now raise revenue through taxes and acquire land through eminent domain while loosening zoning rules to spur further employee housing construction. But this is the important part. There's a public beach that they now can close because they are going to be their own city, which obviously for other residents will impact them. And so I don't have much skin in this game as far as Starbase itself existing as a city. But it made me start thinking about company towns in general, because I remember the first time as an adult going to Kohler and going to the museum at the American Club and relearning what the American Club was originally. And I thought it was, as we talk about immigration, as we talk about people who want to come here and work, and in ways that companies could make it easier for them, that's what the American Club was. Right? There's all these immigrants, single men coming to America. They would work for Kohler, and they lived at the American Club, and they would work their way up through the company and all the little towns. And now, obviously it's a beautiful resort and golf courses, but it also has a darker side, right? As far as what company towns can be.
Yeah, but I mean, the promise of what that became was absolutely incredible. You know, this is where I sort of I go off kilter a little bit, because I'm not a fan of Elon Musk. I don't want Elon Musk controlling anything, and I know that he's the richest man in the world. I get all that. I acknowledge that. I don't want him running a city. So
he's not going to run a city. A SpaceX employee is going to run the city as mayor.
Oh, you don't think he's going to wield some power in that equation? And here's the thing. So how crazy does the contract that these employees / citizens have to sign to be? Do they have to sign off the rights to their firstborn daughter to eventually marry Elon Musk so he can repopulate the world with all of his spawn? Is that how crazy this is going to be? Look, I'm not a fan of Elon Musk. I understand he's smart in some things. He's also a dimwit in other things, and I don't know that his skill set includes running a city, which is actually what's going to happen here.
So yes, this hour is going to be as spicy as the first hour.
Absolutely.
You totally hijacked the conversation to make it. I knew this was going to be about Elon Musk. It's about, is the idea of a company town and these, because as we see people as rich as Elon Musk have more and more power, more and more ability to do things like this, like to buy towns. Because we're basically at the same wealth inequality we were when during the Gilded Age, when towns could just own companies. And is it a slippery slope going back into, the company owns everything in the town, like transportation, all the grocery stores, all of the things. And is it a good thing because they're fostering community, or is it a bad thing because it's basically legalized slavery?
What do you think it is? What's the potential, do you think?
I think it depends on who the benevolent oligarch is, right? As far as how they want to treat their people if we allow this to happen.
I think there's potential, as I said before. There's promise here that you could actually build a community that does things right. But here's the problem with that.
I think reimagining what the American Club was for some of these employers who employ a lot of first-generation immigrants who want to come here and build a better life and creating housing for them, but not in a way that they're trapped, but in a way that like gives them a leg up and like a good start in this country. That sounds awesome to this unhinged liberal.
Take the immigrant part out. What if it's a small town in Wisconsin that has no real enterprise or business, but they have a base of people who just want good paying jobs? You could transform a community with something like this. And maybe that's what's going to happen in Star Place, Texas. Star Base, Texas. I don't know. But there's some potential. I'm not going to poo-poo it just because I don't like Elon Musk, but I think there's opportunity here. Done right, we could actually accomplish something.
Well, and I think that's because I remember having this conversation. Well, let's take a break and come back because I do think there is something about having the CEOs of companies invested in where their headquarters are. And I remember having this conversation specifically about Milwaukee and kind of where Milwaukee is now. So we'll come back and talk about that after this on Point Taken.
Welcome back to Ask Hasslis. I'm Weston. What's your question?
I'm a numerologist. What's your favorite number?
48. Because right now at Hasslis Mattress, you get 48 months interest-free financing on all Tempur-Pedic and Beautyrest Black mattresses.
The number 48 is associated with stability.
Like the stability and comfort of Tempur-Pedic.
Abundance.
Like the abundance of sleep you'll get with a Beautyrest Black mattress from Hasslis.
Prosperity and wealth.
Because you get a $300 MasterCard gift card with your purchase.
The number 48 is a sign that you have chosen the right path in life.
Just like choosing your favorite Tempur-Pedic or Beautyrest Black mattress at Hasslis without commission-hungry salespeople breathing down your neck.
Really?
Yes.
Do you deliver?
Free next-day delivery.
I think 48 may be my favorite number too.
Enjoy 48 months interest-free financing on Tempur-Pedic and Beautyrest Black at Hasslis Mattress. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasslis.com.
As a fellow veteran, we understand what it means to serve on a team. A suicide on a team is devastating and a real risk for veterans. If you or someone you know is struggling, reach out now. Reach out WIS.org for local resources available to you and your loved ones.
Paid for by Advancing a Healthier Wisconsin Endowment with support by the Medical College of Wisconsin, the War Memorial Center, and reachoutwis.org.
While you rest on the weekends, we work for you. Wisconsin's Weekend Morning News with Libby Collins. The latest in news.
The CEO had a relationship with the consultant who this contract is with and did not disclose that to his employer.
Entertainment.
It follows Katie as she rescues street kitties and brings them back to Milwaukee so they can be adopted.
And more.
It's a picture of Donald Trump as the Pope. I am speechless.
Every Sunday morning starting at 8 on WTMJ.
Trying to get so much work done during the commercials, right, Steve?
I don't know if you know my schedule. I have like 4 interviews today. I've got other stuff I got to do. I have no time, and I'm trying to do stuff during the breaks. I know people.
You have no time?
I've got no time.
You have a toddler at home?
Oh, I knew you were going to go there. You gave me that look. Like, what are you talking about, my friend? Ray's a 2-year-old, almost 2-year-old?
This is 1.5.
Yeah. Trust me, I know that's hard work.
All right, so let me get your thoughts on this. As a life, well, I mean, obviously, you didn't live here your whole life. No. You left, you came back.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea, as we talk about company towns, Starbase, where SpaceX is, becoming an official town, and the role or responsibility of CEOs investing in the towns where their employees live. And I feel like that is not as common a practice as it once was. And I was having this conversation with one of the artistic directors in Milwaukee who runs one of the theaters here. And he was saying specifically there used to just be more of an impact of, when you think about Milwaukee, of some of the wealthiest CEOs, presidents of companies here, and their investment in Milwaukee to make sure the city where all their employees lived was a thriving city. And now that it is so international, I mean, right, the current, maybe not for long, CEO of Harley-Davidson doesn't live here.
I don't think so.
And so like the amount of certain CEOs who don't live in the place where their headquarters work or don't live or are not as financially invested in making sure that the towns that their company gets to benefit from is thriving, like that is not as common a practice anymore for the wealthiest among us.
That speaks to the potential I was talking about earlier. That's the promise of that. That is, okay, so you're actually invested in your community. You're hiring local workers, whether they're new to the community or someone who's lived there their whole life, but you're bringing that wealth to them individually in their families, but also sharing some of the wealth in the community. Maybe that means some relationship with green space, parks, and recreational opportunities. That's the cool part. I just don't want this to become like groupthink academies where everyone's got to think like Elon Musk and take it back to that. I don't want that. I still want independent thought. I want people being creative on their own, not having a company dictate what their lives turn out to be because of their strict like regimen. This is what you're going to think. This is what you're going to do. This is how you're going to live.
What an HOA is?
That's a whole nother topic. Sometimes they are.
I feel like you'd be a fan of HOAs.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
No.
You care about people's lawns, though. You hate No Mow May. I know that.
I do hate, because here's the thing. Since you brought it up, and we have time, and it's our show, you can do that in your backyard. But let the backyard go crazy. You can grow it to a foot-long grass. You can go all summer. I don't care. But the rest of us have to see your mess in the front yard. I don't want to look at it. So no on the no-mow.
It's their property.
It is their property. That only goes so far. You know that, right? You can't just do whatever the hell you want to. Like a little bit of a If Steve Ruled the World on a Tuesday. I love it.
Are we going to bring that back?
In some fashion, we are going to bring it back, yes.
If we could sign executive orders, I don't know if that's as powerful as if Steve Ruled the World.
I don't know. Imagine what that world would be like. It'd be a wonderful place. Wouldn't it be a wonderful place? You know me.
Yeah.
That was a very
I'm trying to think of what the
unenthusiastic
drawbacks would be.
You'd have to take care of your lawn. You know what the number one rule? Here's another one for you. This is directly from the Steve Ruled. You know what the number one rule of grass cutting is?
I don't.
Your lawn tells you when you cut the grass, not the other way around. That's a basic fact of good lawns is the lawn tells you when it needs to be cut. You don't decide.
We've already gone over I'm not a lawn person.
Yeah, I know.
This summer.
But I'm going to change that. As you work with me and develop this relationship, I'm going to make you a better landscaper.
Well, the landscaping is one thing, but we're killing the rest of the grass. I don't have a very big yard.
You're getting rid of the grass?
Getting rid of the grass. It's all going to be bushes and landscaping and
well,
rocks
if you can do
such.
that in the right way, that's also very cool.
That's what we're doing this weekend. My mom's coming down to help.
God bless Debbie. I know. Tell her I miss her. I haven't talked to her in a while. Why doesn't she call in sometime?
Maybe she will.
All right.
Yeah. All right. That was...
We meandered. But you know what? Sometimes
derailed.
you got to do that because people love that give and take. That's why they love this show. And by the way...
You got a lot of love on the text line right now.
Oh, my goodness. The text line today? Hello, world. I'm here for you. Because no one else is saying it. Just like I said that 5 years ago, whatever it is, 4 years ago, when the election nonsense was going on. I'm telling you the truth, folks. You can believe it or not. And look what happened. I was right, after all.
You covered a lot of ground just now. All right. Good. We'll be back with more after this.
If Steve ruled the world. Wisconsin's Morning News is here for you every weekday morning starting at 6 a.m. Vince Petrano.
Just released by Vatican News, the conclave to elect a new pope will begin on May 7th.
Eric Bilstad.
Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan could face 6 years in prison.
And traffic with Debbie Lozica.
It's on northbound 41 from about Watertown Plank Road all the way up past North Avenue. We got that road work going on through there.
The news you need to know. Wisconsin's Morning News on WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ. It's Steve Scaffidi. Just looking at the sign-ups. They're coming in. We're moving up on that list of people who are going to Hawaii with me in November of 2026. I know it's a long time away, but here's the thing. There's an early booking discount. I think it expires in June or July, so I think it's June, end of June. Don't wait because it's substantial, and you want to come with us to do all the cool things. 3-island itinerary, Oahu, Hawaii, Maui. Yes, Maui. We're, of course, going to visit Pearl Harbor, that solemn place, incredible piece of our nation's history, the Volcanoes National Park in Hawaii, Kona Coffee Plantation. Yes, Julie, that's for you, that mention. We're going to have the luau. You have to have a luau when you go to Hawaii. But you can join us, my wife Kathy and I, Rose Gray from Fox World Travel, on this very unique listener trip. I'm going to get a tattoo in Hawaii, my first one, to sort of signify my visit to my 50th state. You can be part of that. You can get a tattoo as well. Here's what you got to do. Do not wait. It will sell out. 866-GO-FOX-GO. 866-GO-FOX-GO. Call today. Put your deposit down. Get on that list. Then you won't be locked out when we sell out. Or you can find it at our show page at WTMJ.com. Do not miss out on the early booking discount. Come with me to Hawaii. You know you want to. Here's how you make it real. 866-GO-FOX-GO. Best of Hawaii. Steve Scaffidi. Join us.
A lot of law firms claim to be experts at handling injury cases that involve large trucks. But handling one trucking case does not make you an expert on the subject. Experience matters in these cases. One local firm has handled 25 trucking cases which resulted in payments over $1 million each, and hundreds of others as well. Because Wisconsinites know who to call when it's a must-win scenario. They call Habish, Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Max. What makes senior living at Three Pillars so special? Let's hear from my friend Pam.
Good friends of ours moved there, and they had invited us over for dinner a number of times. And they said, we waited way too long. You should come when you're younger. They had no idea it was going to be this great. There are just so many things to do, and it keeps you young. I mean, we have a lot of residents who are pushing 100. I believe they're there and still alive because of Three Pillars.
Schedule a tour today at threepillars.org.
Spring is in the air, the perfect time to kickstart those home improvement dreams. Hi, Gene Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors. They're your local experts in stylish, energy-efficient upgrades. Boost your curb appeal and add real value with top brands like Pella, Anderson, Marvin, and more. All customized to fit your home and your style. Wood, vinyl, or fiberglass, they've got it all. And their newly remodeled New Berlin showroom is the place to start. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. Visit hometownwindows.com today.
Honoring those who dedicate their lives to keeping us safe, WTMJ is highlighting first responders who went above and beyond this past year through Steve Scaffidi's Salute to Service presented by Waterstone Bank. You can nominate your first responder now at WTMJ.com or on the WTMJ mobile app. The nomination period is open now through Friday, May 9th. Finalists are going to be recognized during Hero Week, May 19th through May 23rd. Help us tell your stories. WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi's Salute to Service, presented by
Waterstone Bank, who are great partners with Salute to Service. And I need those nominations because we're going to cut it off on Friday. I'll start contacting all of the honorees for their interviews, and I love telling the stories. We're actually going to play one of our features every day this week. We'll do it in the 11:30 to noon slot, somewhere in there. One of our award-winning features from last year, which I think was a battalion chief from Milwaukee's fine fire department, Jeremy Starr. That one's coming up in a little bit. So I love the texters today because they're on fire, as I am, and you. But
I don't think I'm on fire today.
Not as much as you could
I don't think
be.
I get as riled up as you do.
No. Well, I'm old. And
I pick my spots.
So someone had a question for you.
Oh, yeah. Someone said maybe it's from this is the 920. Maybe it's a topic already covered. But as a mother of a young girl, I'm curious as to Kristin's take on our daughter essentially being rationed to only 2 to 3 dolls. My actual take on this, this actually will be fascinating to watch. I was writing my piece for Journal Sentinel because it's Mother's Day, so I had to get it done by Monday so it can be in the Sunday paper. And I was doing different research on different, current policies and how it's affecting parents. And the truth is, not only toys, but just a lot of baby gear in general. Like I think Wall Street Journal did a big article on like most strollers and car seats are all made in China. And so this could, if we don't figure it out with China, the extra tax on parents on most baby things could be huge. That said, my daughter already has a ton of toys. Our house is just taken over with toys.
I still have toys for my kids.
And so I'm every time I see some kind of like Montessori, like minimalist Instagram post about how your kid learns more with less toys, I like send it to my mother. And I'm like, we don't need any more stuff.
So you are saying you are enthusiastically endorsing Donald Trump's idea that we have less dolls.
I would say not that.
Come on.
Two things can be true.
I actually like the argument, but I don't.
The burden this will put on parents as far as stuff that they actually do need, and also there's a lot of stuff that kids don't need.
Oh, of course.
That my daughter, at least, I will say, doesn't need, including 30 dolls.
Yeah, and do a lot of kids have 30 dolls or
how many are we up to?
I got to ask my.
I think we're up to like 5 or 6.
I know that
she tries to carry them all at the same time.
I know my granddaughter names her dolls. So I'm going to ask her. I would think like 5. So she's sort of reasonable in that.
I think I had a lot of Barbies. I mean, I wasn't given 30 Barbies in like a single Christmas. But like over time, the accumulation of Barbies.
I had like 6 G.I. Joes.
Which are dolls.
Which I still have 2 of them.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Are they well loved?
No, they're missing their feet.
I was going to say, so you can't, that's not a collector's item. That's not.
I just kept them because they were, my mom my lovely mother Agnes saved them for me. Did I tell you this story? I went over there because my dad needed me to move something, and she had my little Bible from grade school, the little pocket Bible.
Did you have earmarked pages of passages you liked?
You want to know something? That thing was like in mint condition. I don't know if I ever looked at the damn thing. It was like in mint condition. It's like, how does that happen? I went to school for all those years at St. Sylvester's.
Never opened it.
Never cracked that thing. I lived a good life. I didn't have to. I listened to the priest.
Oh, yeah? You never had to go to confession?
That's an interesting story as well, because back then at St. Sylvester's, because we had church every day, and then you had confession once a week. You'd walked up, the priest sat in a chair up in front of the altar, and you walked up and sat in a chair out in the open.
Oh.
And your friends would be trying to listen to what you were. And here's the weird thing. If I was a stand-up comic, I'd do this. Here's the weird thing. You're going up there, you're like 8 years old. You're not sinning every day.
That's why I love the idea of being a fourth grader and finally getting to that milestone and needing to confess. You're like, I was mean to my brother.
We actually would go up there and lie to the priest just to have something to say to him.
Me too.
The exact opposite of what we were supposed to be doing in the first place. God bless those Catholics, though. They raised me well.
That's a different topic for a different
It
day.
is.
Being raised Catholic versus converted Catholic. Because if you're converted Catholic when you're older, you don't have those stories.
Real quick, Google this during the break. The movie He Said, She Said, someone said we remind me of them of that movie. So we got a lot more to get to, including that feature that I just talked about.
Adam Roberts with a boat update.
Oh, yeah, boat update from Adam Roberts coming up. That boat that could be blown up for all I care. Just my hot take. We got local news with sort of the dean of local news here at WTMJ. And
Dean, King?
King
of local news?
Czar, news czar, maybe? Anyway, that's coming
I'll
up.
ask him
But before we
what
get to
title
that,
he likes.
the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Tensions between the U.S. and Canada triggered by President Trump's tariffs front and center at the White House today. President Trump and Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney sitting down for trade talks.
I think we have a lot of things in common. We have some tough points to go over, and that'll be fine.
Before Carney's arrival, the president posting on social media that the U.S. doesn't need anything from Canada. ABC's Alexis Christophorus has more on the key trading partners.
Both the U.S. and Canada are heavily reliant on each other for trade. And we know that the new PM in Canada has said that the relationship with the U.S. has changed forever.
The FAA sending air traffic control supervisors to the ATC center in charge of airspace at Newark Liberty International Airport. It follows staff shortages and recent ATC outages there. L.A. police say they've booked suspect Jimmy Wayne Carwile on felony vandalism charges, accused of ramming his car into Jennifer Aniston's driveway gate Monday. Police say they don't have a motive. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:31. Removing the abandoned boat Deep Thought from Lake Michigan continues this morning. Big cranes and heavy equipment are currently on the beach near McKinley Marina. Lake Memorial Drive remains shut down. The entire process could take through the rest of the afternoon. A teen is dead in an early morning shooting. Police responding about 2:30 this morning near 39th and Cherry in Milwaukee Central City. They found a 17-year-old with gunshot wounds who died at the scene. They're looking for a known suspect. And a burglary at a popular West Allis vegan restaurant. Police are searching for a suspect who broke into Twisted Plants restaurant in Wauwatosa just before midnight on Sunday and took off with a cash register, took about $1,000 and fled in an orange Honda Element. Police are looking for more information. News about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update today. It's been a red day so far. The Dow is down 199. The NASDAQ is off 104. The S&P is down 25 points. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Let's check out those roads. Hey, pretty good midday right now. The system is clear, no delays, and no stoppages. All nice. The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, lots of sunshine, a high of 73 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear, low of 48. Tomorrow, cloudy, breezy, a high of 65. Thursday, sunny, 60. Friday, mostly sunny, a high of 68. On Saturday, partly cloudy, a high of 74 degrees. Right now in Madison, it is sunny and 68 degrees. In Green Bay, lots of sunshine and 69. Here in Milwaukee, partly cloudy, sun trying, it's 66 degrees. I'm John Mercure, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:33.
Deals are popping up all over the place this week at Fleet Farm. Like Farm Fresh Selects veggie and herb plants, 3 for $9.99. 1 cubic foot bags of Miracle Grow Moisture Control Potting Mix are just $9.99. And ladies' Carhartt Tencel t-shirts are 25% off. From garden staples to workwear essentials, Fleet Farm has everything you need this season. Always at the best prices, guaranteed.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano talking with Dr. Mike Nolte at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Doc, a lot of people are hesitant to visit a surgeon for spine care.
The good news is that the vast majority of patients that I see and the majority of conditions that I can see can be successfully treated without surgery. And I don't want patients to think that just because you're seeing a spine surgeon means that you're going to be signing up for surgery. We talk about in my clinic kind of a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C.
Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. orthowisconsin.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it. Guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Steve's favorite topic.
I'm sick of talking about boats, but we're going to talk about it here.
We didn't have to talk about it, but Adam Roberts,
I love
WTMJ
Adam Roberts. That's why
Newsroom, is on location. Deep Thought. It's out of the water. I'm seeing right now. Is that correct, Adam?
That is correct, Kristin and Steve. Literally just minutes ago, Deep Thought went from waterlogged to landborne. The crew from All City Towing just wenched it out of the water. You can now see the full side profile, and that's a good thing because we've got about 200 people here on the lakefront that came for a show, and they finally got a little action here.
Was there a lot of crying and emotional hand-wringing over the loss of or the removal of Deep Thought from the Lake Michigan shoreline?
You know, Steve, it's about 50-50. I've talked to probably about half the people who have come out since about 5:45 this morning when I first got here, and I'd say half are tearfully watching this thing finally come out, and the other half kind of line up with our city's Mayor Cavalier Johnson, who are agnostic and just want it out of the water.
Are you serious? Are people actually kind of tearful?
No, Kristin.
Okay.
People are not actually crying over this.
I'm surprised.
Although I will say there are plenty waxing poetic about what the Deep Thought means in their deep thoughts.
Oh, wow. I'm sure.
Adam, you work with the morning guys a lot, right?
Sure.
Yes. At any point, did Eric or Vince, either on the show or away from the shows, commit to actually going to the boat, chaining themselves to it in sort of a protest against the removal or the altering of this shipwrecked vehicle?
Didn't even cross their minds, Steve.
All right. Just want to make sure. I'll put that on a record.
All right. I
had a feeling.
So now it seems like the next part is going to be difficult. There's a lot of rocks there. And so
Absolutely.
do you have have they given any expectation that they're just going to keep pulling? Or what is the plan now that it's out of the water to get it up and over those rocks?
So the story remains roughly the same. I'm actually watching Jeff Pillar. He's kind of the head honcho for All City Towing. He's now observing the work. They've got some boons, small boons, but still boons that they're putting behind this. So the plan from this morning is now that it's on land, they got to get this thing up on an angle. They're not going to be able to lift it just straight up out of the water. They got to get this thing on an angle with their big lifts. There's two of them right now. I think Jeff mentioned there's a third one that might come into play. But they got to get this thing on an angle, then they're going to lift it up. And I have a funny feeling they're going to probably move people even a little bit further back. We've got what Jeff calls the danger zone set up around the perimeter where they're working. But I have a feeling once this thing is up in the air, we may be told, all right, we got to widen that perimeter a little bit.
All right, Kenny Loggins, what's your estimate on number of men wearing green vests on site? Because I've seen at least a couple dozen.
Yeah, we got green vests, we got waders, we've got camo suspenders. I count 12. I think Jeff said the crew's about a dozen guys and one gal today.
Do they look like they're putting, like, are they kind of taking their time, or is it a lot of sweat and is tension high?
Oh, I would say tension is very low, actually. A lot
No
of
one's
thumbs
stressed
up, a lot
trying to
of
get this thing
chuckling.
out.
No, I would say not. I think from the beginning, when Jeff first came to light that he was going to be the guy and his crew was tasked with this, he's been confident from the get-go. And I would say, other than about an hour or so ago when they first got the chains into the bow of the boat, little boat terminology for you, there was a small but noticeable crack. If you're on my Twitter at Adam Roberts MKE, you can see the video when they were first starting to lurch this, and you can hear the as the cracks started to form. But it has held up to this point.
All right, I'll save the tape because this could be a WBA in the making, this incredible story of the boat. Deep thoughts. Adam Roberts on our local coverage. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you about the removal of the boat?
1 to 10, probably 7 to 8. I mean,
wow.
Is that mostly just because you don't have to cover it anymore once it's gone?
Well, I mean, yes and no. It ultimately, I think Eric and Vince kind of made mention that this is, in many ways, an example, a microcosm of government bodies trying, failing, and trying again to get something done. And we saw over the course of the last 7 months, there was a lot of, okay, it's your responsibility, and it's their responsibility. It's the owner's responsibility. So from that end, I'm glad, just personally, to see some finality. But I mean, I do genuinely feel like there's hundreds of people out here. Clearly, through whatever way, this boat does mean something to the people who've come here.
Is it a cultural icon, as someone described it?
Maybe to a certain extent. I mean, I don't think ever was a plan to rope this thing or gate it off and turn it into our own Plymouth Rock. But I mean, you could say so.
It's going to be in the next calling. Put it on display.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we know how Steve feels about that.
So Steve could just complain about another
Spear that on top of
monument
one of
in
those
Milwaukee for the rest of
orange
his
spikes.
days.
All right, Adam Roberts from our newsroom. It's a gorgeous day out there, so not rough duty today, buddy.
Not at all. The weather forecast called for calm waters, sunny skies. It's about, I believe it's about upper 60s right now at Lakeside, and still very calm water.
All right, thanks for your reporting, my friend. We'll see you in the newsroom. All right, so real quick before we go to break, this is, and I said this last week, I don't know if I said it to you or somebody else, this is a perfect example of how some people in the state love to celebrate the stupid. A fascination with the dumbest things. And this is one of the
You've yet to give me another example.
fascination with stupid?
Yes.
The fascination with that Milverine dude that runs around town? Like, what's that about?
He's very nice.
I don't get
I met
reason
him
nice
on
enough.
New Year's.
Put a damn shirt on. What are you doing?
I mean, if you had a body like that, I feel like you'd walk around with no shirt on.
No, I can tell you that I wouldn't. Absolutely not.
When we come back, a flashback to the salute service last year with Jeremy Starr. Stay with us on Point Taken.
And now, deep thoughts.
We love being a trusted friend in the community for those who need an attorney but don't know where to turn. Our clients aren't the kind of people who typically bring lawsuits. Our clients have been hurt in a crash or accident and need our help and advice. I'm Jeff Zergabel of Pasternak and Zergabel. Frank Pasternak and I are injury lawyers living, working, and giving back in our community. When you need help from exceptional personal injury lawyers, go to Pasternak and Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Milwaukee Weight Loss. I love talking about it because if you have an event, maybe it's a wedding, maybe it's it's a celebration of some sort, a graduation, maybe it's a trip that you're looking forward to and you want to lose some weight, this is a great way to do it. You can lose up to 1 pound of fat per day. Their doctors have developed easy-to-follow weight loss program. Helps you lose weight fast, naturally, and safely with no drugs or injections, with no serious side effects. It's not the gimmicky things like the meals, the bars, the shakes. You don't even have to exercise if you don't want to. Their program helps reset your metabolism. That's what they did for me, and I lost 40 pounds. You have a coach. Mine's Emily. They have all great coaches out there. For ongoing support or questions, you can email them. Their program, get this, costs up to half as much, works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Schedule your free consultation. 20 to 30 pounds, you can do it. Schedule your free consultation by calling 262-449-1180 or go online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
At Potawatomi, where ways to win are endless, another chance to capture epic cash and prizes comes Friday, June 27th. It's the season finale blockbuster drawings. Watch your entries from Enchanted Spins, Unreal Treasures, and Boundless Bounty come together for drawings where $300,000 in cash and prizes is there for the taking. Be there to win your share. June 27th only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info online. Must be 21 years old to play.
Burkhardt Sporting Goods has a great reputation for producing custom team apparel. We're total team outfitters and we can handle the biggest jobs. Our success in custom team apparel led us into group and corporate apparel. Plus, we have a full selection of promotional products for employee gifts, special events, you name it. And we've made it easy for our customers to firm up their orders. The group sale web stores that we build for our customers are a simple way of gathering all the information you need. They're easy to work, easy to understand, and with them you'll have access to nearly limitless options. We've seen that most times we're better priced than our competition on the same high-quality apparel choices that the other guys offer. Plus Nike and Under Armour choices that the other guys can't get. And we offer a huge brand selection from Yeti, North Face, and Carhartt too. This is Brian Burkhardt. For team, group, or corporate custom outfitting and promotional products, it's going to be really hard to beat our prices, selection, and ease of buying for any size budget and every size company. And that's why we always say, you can't beat Burkhardt. New Berlin and Fox Point.
Hi, I'm Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, reminding you to double-check your home. Siding Unlimited is the proven exteriors professionals for 31 years. Family-owned and locally operated right here in Wisconsin. Call Siding Unlimited and visit sidingunlimited.com.
Thanks for hanging out with us on this Tuesday as we lead up to Heroes Week here on WTMJ and my Salute to Service presented by Waterstone Bank. This week we always bring some of the best stories from the previous year's awardees and honorees to the show. And today is from the Milwaukee Fire Department, I believe, Jeremy Starr, Battalion Chief. Here's his story.
Hello, I'm Aaron Lipsky, City of Milwaukee Fire Chief, and I am nominating Battalion Chief Jeremy Starr.
Jeremy Starr with the Milwaukee Fire Department, Battalion Chief. Been there for just about 15 years.
I'm nominating him because not only has he been an absolutely outstanding asset for the Milwaukee Fire Department, but it comes with a very, very important history. He's a decorated United States Marine Corps veteran.
So once I did my 4 years active duty, went on a couple deployments, I decided to come back to the city, and I still had that calling for service. So I went from there and joined the fire department. I think it goes back to just serving people. I've never been one that want to sit in the same place. Every time you go on a call, you meet new people, you see different things. It's always a challenge. It's critical thinking. Your mind is always working. So there's never really a dull moment.
From day one as a firefighter to year 15, how have you changed as a person or as a firefighter?
In a lot of ways. One is refining and defining my values, because in that time period, I've had kids, I've been married. Well, my wife's been doing this with me since I was on active duty, so she's been through a deployment overseas with me, and so that lifestyle somewhat is normal to her. They have a 7, 5, and 2-year-old. It's getting a little bit harder for them, but the biggest thing is continue to talk to them. They come to the firehouse. The firehouse and the fire service is a family.
He cares about his people, and he is organized.
Every time we go on a call, it's someone's worst scenario. But I try to uplift the person I'm around just a little bit, even if it's just changing it from a traumatic scenario to being like, hey, we're here for you. We got you. Taking a little time just to hang out with them for a little bit and make that experience memorable, because that may be the first or the last time they ever see the fire department, and it should be a positive one. There's one regular patient that we'd have all the time, and I had him on Christmas. We were waiting for an ambulance to come by, and it was like a light snowfall coming down, dark at night. It's kind of like that picturesque. And I told him, what's your favorite Christmas song? And he's like, The Temptations, Silent Night. And at the time, my driver had a speaker in there, and I'm like, all right, play it. While waiting for the ambulance, me and him were sitting there, we're singing The Temptations. And it's just moments like that where you just kind of take them out of whatever bad situation they're in and just make something good out of it, even if it's just a small bit.
You came highly recommended. The chief, Aaron Lipsky of the Milwaukee Fire Department, nominated you. What does that mean to you?
Well, I was taken back when he asked me, and then I was honored because you don't necessarily do things for acknowledgement. You just do the job, and so it was an honor that it was even thought of.
What does salute the service mean to you?
I think it's continually going out and serving someone or something higher than yourself. Putting the call out there and so that someone on there knows that you're going to be there for them. Serve your community, serve your country, serve your family, friends, whatever that is, whether it's small or big, is always just remember that we're here for others, and that's the most important thing.
Arvin?
Yeah?
Ben is walking around Penny Mustard's showroom handing out cigars.
I know.
But why?
He's celebrating the new edition.
You mean?
That's right.
Have a cigar, Nicole.
Congratulations. I just heard the news.
Thanks. I'm so happy.
You should be.
Do you have a photo?
Of course. Here.
Wait, that's the Rowan bedroom collection.
I know. Isn't it beautiful?
I thought...
You thought Penny Mustard's newest bedroom would be made in the USA and tariff-free with locally sourced wood, forever tight bed brackets, and drawers strong enough to stand on.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Look at the molding, the feet, the inlays.
The Rowan is one fine-looking bedroom collection.
Yeah, it gets its good looks from me.
Come see our new addition, the Rowan Bedroom Collection, with king bed, 9-drawer dresser, mirror, and 2-drawer nightstand, starting at $92.40 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Newer versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Shopco Optical. Get eyewear for everything you do at Shopco Optical. Schedule your annual comprehensive eye exam, check out new frame styles, and order your annual supply of contact lenses all in one place. Enjoy the time and attention your eyes deserve at Shopco Optical. Receive quality eye care and a personalized vision solution tailored to your specific vision and lifestyle needs. Call Shopco Optical or visit shopco.com to schedule an appointment at a location nearest you.
Ready for an exciting change? At Merle Norman, we can take your look from ordinary to extraordinary in a matter of minutes. Our innovative skincare, perfectly matched foundations, and on-trend colors will make a difference that's written all over your face. Come in and see what a makeover can do. We'll help you select products that are just right for you, and we'll teach you tips that pros know about applying your most flattering shades. Ask for your free express makeover today at Merle Norman Cosmetics Salon and Spa at Brookfield Square.
It's Debbie Lazaga, and I'm so excited because Kohler Services just transformed my old bathtub into a beautiful new Luxstone shower. Kohler Services made it so easy. They came to my home and helped me design my custom shower, and they hauled away my old tub. Stephen, Luke, and Will were focused and professional installers. I recommend them to anyone. You can request your free quote for a custom Kohler Luxstone shower by visiting KohlerServicesWI.com. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
At Wisconsin's own Accunet Mortgage, our closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 less than the banks or the mortgage guys with the Rocket for exactly the same rate. Find out how much you can save at ACCUNET.com.
Want to stay up to date with the crew?
Cubs fans are booing as if that was intentional. The bases are loaded, nobody's out. And it was a slider. Come on.
Tune in to Brewers Extra Innings with Dominic Cotroneo after every game.
Humiliated. You got shut up by the White Sox, now by the Cubs. The fibs. You know, am I allowed to say that on the radio? Well, I just did. You can say anything once in the words of Bob Uecker.
Or listen anytime on the Brewers All Access podcast feed. We are your home of the Brewers. WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
All right. How much time do you ever spend just scrolling on your phone?
A lot less than I used to.
Okay.
I try to put the phone down.
So the Met Gala wasn't all over your timeline last night?
I know nothing about it.
You know nothing about the Met Gala?
I know what it is, but I didn't pay any attention to it or didn't. Nothing popped up on my timeline. I don't think fashion stuff. I'm getting like Mason posts and reels. I'm getting landscaping stuff.
Like Mason? Like
stonemason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So no black dandyism?
No, but I know what that is because I watched this great report on CBS Sunday Morning about black dandyism and its impact.
Was it relevant to the Met? Is that why they were doing it?
Yeah, that was the theme.
Yeah, that was the theme for last night.
Mm-hmm. See, I know stuff.
So it's so funny to me because I feel like this is the conversation that happens every year because the is it relevant? Who cares? But some people are like obsessed with the fashion. Megyn Kelly had a lot to say, if you are surprised by that.
Pro con, what's
con?
Really?
I mean, yeah, she was like, this seems like black tokenism to me because the theme was, let me get the exact phrasing, super fine, tailoring black style.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was basically a black dandyism, which we just said, which was originally a style that was forced upon enslaved people and then reclaimed as a sign of resistance, like things we usually see this with words, right? Like words getting reclaimed by the group that was once the victim of those words.
And the historical piece is that there was dandyism in Europe.
Oh.
Early on. So that's sort of where that came from. And then, of course, the cultural impact and the impact on slaves was our story, our part of the story.
So, yeah. So then, it was a lot of black fashion designers, a lot of black celebrities were there. So, yes, Megyn Kelly was very anti. I think it's an opportunity, especially in the Trump 2.0 of the attack on DEI and all things cultural outside of white culture. It was cool. I'm not really into it. I'm not someone who I'm enough into pop culture that it shows up for me, but I'm not obsessed with it, or I'm not like dying to see what people wore, or who wore it best, or anything like that.
Did they have a good time at the Met Gala? If they had a good time, I guess I don't get in the way. Enjoy yourself.
But what I will say is the reminder that ultimately this is a fundraiser, and that last night they had a record-breaking $31 million
Not bad.
raise, which exceeds the previous record of $26 million. And this is for the Metropolitan Museum of Arts. And so as someone who loves the arts, and as we have more and more funding being taken away from things, a reminder that this is actually a fundraiser, and the stuff that gets the money that gets raised for this goes to a good cause. So it's not just a sign of excess wealth every spring.
As much as I didn't care about it, knock yourself out. You had a good time. You raised a lot of money. That's sort of the goal of some of these organizations. So good stuff. Texter said maybe we should have a deep thought segment every day from
you,
me,
specifically you.
Yeah. Do you have a deep thought today? What's your deep thought for this Tuesday in Wisconsin? What's on your mind? What's bugging you today? I love. I can throw this to you with a minute left.
What is bugging me
What's
today?
on your mind?
Well, what I was writing about yesterday for the piece that's going to come out later this week, and then in the paper on Sunday, is thinking about. Is there any, again, now we have 45 seconds. Is there any government policy that would impact my decision to have another child?
Very topical and relevant.
Very
question.
topical and relevant. Yeah. So I write about that. And I think the answer is no. Like, I think it's ultimately a personal decision that certainly $5,000 of baby bonus would not, because $5,000 for 2 kids in daycare is like 1 month. And so I'm not sure that's moving the needle. But even the ones, the policies that the left pushes for a lot, paid leave, more affordable childcare, healthcare, all these different things. Like, would that actually have us? Because we're on the fence.
We'll do a show on that because I think there's a lot.
There is a lot there,
and Mother's Day is coming up too, so it's certainly something we can add into the mix. We got a lot of great shows coming up. Thanks for tuning in. The texters were off the charts today. And they loved sort of the riled up Steve, which I started the show. I'm done with stupidity. I can't put up with it.
We got Ask Us Anything back tomorrow.
Yeah, a shortened show, but we're going to still get to Ask Us Anything, and that's our new Wednesday feature. She is Kristin. I am Steve. Point taken, PT. You're glad you listened. Come back tomorrow.
And now, deep thoughts.